Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whale Nerds Podcast. This is episode number 106. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Adam and Caitlin.
What's up?
Hello.
Yo.
What's up, fam?
Oh man.
Podcasting.
Podcasting, finally.
I know it's been a minute. We've all been traveling.
How many excuses can we come up with?
There's not one. You're just busy, and you guys were out of town off and on, and just hasn't happened.
We were.
Life happens. We have full-time jobs. This is our side gig.
It's our side hustle,
which we love, but doesn't pay the bills yet.
Yet. Keyword.
Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to everyone that supports us. We got some new Patreon folks. It's good to see you all. Thank you for sticking with us and supporting our work. Also, thank you to everyone that signed up for a trip or listens to the podcast or has rated or reviewed the podcast somewhere. You can check out what we're doing and look at the calendar for trips on our website. We also have a blog on there. It's thewhalenerds.com. And just a ticket sales update for the April trips coming up the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Friday the 22nd, there are only 7 seats left. Saturday sold out, and Sunday there are only 6 seats left. So if you're thinking of coming, you should book it sooner rather than later, because I do think we're going to be pretty much sold out for the whole weekend. So I would hate for you to miss out on being able to come. So book now. And you can do that on our website again, thewhalenerds.com. You can also check out our merch. We also have video versions of all of our episodes now available on our YouTube channel from episode 100 onward. So you can see whatever weird stuff Adam and Slater are doing while they're talking or while I'm talking.
Lots of weird things.
And then Friday, on Earth Day, April 22nd, we're also doing a beach cleanup in Moss Landing. You don't have to be going to any of our trips that weekend. If you're in the area though, and you want to come clean the beach, show your appreciation to our planet for Earth Day. You can join us. It's at 2:30. We're meeting at Moss Landing Viewpoint parking lot, and then we'll be cleaning Moss Landing State Beach from 2:30 to 4:30. We have bags being donated from Alvarado Street Brewery, so we can give some of their grain bags a second life before they go in the dumpster, and we'll provide gloves if you would like. But if you want to bring your own personal protective equipment or trash pickers, we recommend it. Bring some protection and water. And you can either park at the harbor or you can park at that Viewpoint parking lot, that gravel parking lot. So hopefully we'll see you there at some point.
Let's clean the planet, y'all.
Pick up some trash.
And then I did just want to give a little shout out to Cape Ann Whale Watch. They're accepting intern applications still. So if you're interested in doing an East Coast summer and you want to learn about marine mammal research and education, they teach you photo ID, data collection, interpretation, and all kinds of good stuff. You'd be on the Hurricane 2 with my old crew, and you can email a cover letter, resume, and 2 written references to cawwtablet@gmail.com. So yeah, that's all the housekeeping. I did it so fast.
Out of the way. I didn't even take a breath. Are you okay?
My sightings are gonna take a pretty long,
an hour.
Same though.
I mean, I've been out a lot this week. Starting April 1st, I went out.
I wrote a lot of notes.
Yeah, what happened on April 1st?
On April 1st, I went out and honestly, 8 minutes
Worse.
into my trip. No, hold on. 8 minutes into my trip, I already had 2 humpback whales. And basically I saw 5 humpback whales, and then who was it? Chase or Joey on the sanctuary called me and was like, hey, we went back to where we were in the beginning of the morning, and there's a bunch of whales here now. They found 5 or 6 more whales than the 2 we originally had. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm on my way. And then I am traveling for about 2 minutes, and then I hear and then my engine seized up. So that was
bummer.
Cool.
I really thought for a second you were pulling the April Fools.
Freaking
and you were so upset, and I was like, oh,
I didn't even think about that.
This is real.
No,
I didn't even think about that.
I wished. And I wrote on my Patreon, I was like, April Fools, guys. My engine broke down today. I always update them and stuff, And I was just like, wait, that kind of sounds like I'm actually April Foolsing them, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had the roughest week ever, and I have 0 sightings, but I've been seeing lots of people's sightings from the bay.
But you went to Baja with Lindblad. How was that?
Oh, did we not talk about that?
No. We talked about sharks in
Oh.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Dang, I guess I do have a little bit of a. Okay, so rewind. My boat didn't break yet. We're still living life. Yeah, so I went out with Lindblad down to Magdalena Bay, and it was honestly a really cool experience staying on the ship right in the lagoon, and it was a really fun trip. Like all together, it was very planned out, and there was a good amount of downtime, but there wasn't much downtime. Like they always had something cool for us to do. We did some really cool walks along the dunes, and we did some stuff back in the mangroves, a lot of good birding. And unfortunately, we had 2 bad days of weather, or actually like kind of 3 bad days of weather. So our 2 main days of whale watching in an area where you could like, pet whales and have like really good whale watching, we were kind of blown out. And so that kind of got screwed up. But on our 3rd day of whale watching, we went like 60 miles south in the lagoon to another place where the whale watching regulation is a little different. It's 60 meters. But it's funny because we actually had a whale come over to the boat and rub its head on the boat, and my wife was able to pet a whale there. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was just an amazing trip. I had a lot of fun. The naturalists on the boat were super knowledgeable, and it wasn't like they had like a naturalist for almost like every little thing, like someone that knew about plants, someone that knew about whales, someone that knew about birds. And so they all gave lectures. Like they had like planned out lectures throughout the days and nights and stuff, or like during like cocktail hours. And we definitely have to get a couple of the naturalists on the podcast, because these stories they have, like even one of the guys has a story about like an osprey that's like, it's like such an inspiring story, and it's like about an osprey. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, really cool trip. I had a lot of fun. I definitely want to go back and do another trip with them, maybe like Galapagos or something. So
here we go. Just going to the Galapagos. No big deal.
Casual.
Study more
no
photography.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Well, so everybody that was attending this expedition, like you sit down in like a big dining room and you kind of meet new people every day, and all of them are like, oh yeah, we already did their Galapagos expedition. We did Alaska last year. Like, so they like are like they're
seasoned
like returning
veterans.
Customers,
Yeah.
And so they all said that Galapagos is crazy, and that you like just can't get away from wild animals there. Like you're stepping over sea lions and stepping over iguanas, and you're like looking at turtles while you're doing that. And, like they said, there's just like so much going on there that there's like never a dull moment. And they said, especially for photography, like there's just something to photograph in every way you look. So
that's awesome.
So when you guys were on a big ship, and then when you were in Mag Bay, did like pongas come to you, or did you use the boats from the ship? Or
so they use local. They try to use like as much local stuff as they can, as far even food and like businesses and stuff. So in the mornings, the pongas pulled up to the rib, and then we kind of like, they just used the rib as like a platform to walk out onto, and then you hop over into the ponga and go whale watching. So they split it up into like 5 pongas and put like 6 people in each one. So it's pretty good. A lot of room on the ponga. The pongas are big. And you know what? I was thinking I kind of want to buy one. Like they handle, like we were out in some like stuff that I was like, I would just have canceled. So, and like, because that's how it is there. It's like you're in the waves. It's weird. Like you're in shallow water. You're in Magdalena Bay. That's how it is. In San Ignacio, it gets pretty bumpy too.
We had one day where it was like we were wearing ponchos that the driver gave us because it was so windy. We were just like taking so much spray. I thought my mom was gonna kill me. She like looked back at me at one point and was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, they gotta go. You gotta see that gray whale.
Yeah,
but they spy hop everywhere. So I will say that 3rd morning that it was like so people were kind of like on the ship. They were kind of like, wow, like we paid a pretty good price, and like we had bad weather for 2 days, so their spirits were like really low. Like there's nothing Lindblad could have done. They like
oh yeah.
We still did so many things, and we still did try to go whale watching. just my group didn't see it, but another boat did see one for a hot minute. And like, it was good because it was like a family with a bunch of young kids and they all got to pet the whale. It came over, lifted its head onto their boat for like a good 3 minutes. And then by the time any boat tried to got over there, like the whale, it slipped away. And so it was cool that family got like an experience, but everyone else had not seen a whale. So then this last day, everybody was like, frick, I hope we see something. And my boat happened to be the first one out. And we were like, okay, there's a couple here. There's like 2 over there. And it was weird. There was like this big current rip and they were all just sitting in this thing, like in this current rip, just like basically just flopping around. And you see like peck fins, tail flukes coming out of the water. And then it's just like spy hop everywhere. I'm not like, and you can't, it was like hard to get photos of them because it's like, you literally go to shoot one and it's like one's like on the other side of another pond, the opposite way. So spy hop like crazy. And like I said, my wife got very lucky. The one came right under our boat and then the guy stopped and just sat there. And then the whale like sank back and put his head like kind of like he didn't come out of the water with his head, but like he brought it up to the surface and then he rolled upside down and Margot got to pet his chin.
Aww.
And it's funny because after the fact, Margot's like, I don't even know where I pet that whale at. And I was like,
I just pet it.
She was just so happy that it's like chin was right there next
She's
to
like,
the
I
boat.
touched it.
Yeah. Well, she so she was gonna reach, and then she kind of like hesitated. She's like, should I? And I was like, yeah, touch it. Like, and then so it was super cool. She was like, and then she was like, everybody's like, did you touch it? I was like, no, I didn't even think to touch it. I just shot a photo of Margot reaching out to touch it. I literally have probably I've had a good amount of opportunities to pet whales and I always forget to like reach out and do it because I'm always, trying to get photos of the passengers and stuff.
I think my favorite memory of my sister when we were in the lagoons is like she pet the whale and then instantly recoiled because she's like, it was really squishy and I thought I was gonna poke through its skin and then I didn't.
I forget what Margot, someone on the ship described it as like a yoga mat, like those like mats that are in the water, like they're rubbery and they're like slippery, like what I mean, like kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but like
it's kind of like a hard-boiled egg, but like even squishier.
But then also has some muscle to it, like you could kind of punch it if you wanted to,
My sister's like, I thought I was gonna poke through it.
That's hilarious.
So Adam, let's just keep the Baja report going and then we'll wrap it up with Hawaii.
Let's go Baja.
I don't have any sightings. My engine's broke and as of today they're actually working on it right now. So
good.
I'm just glad you got one, dude. Like,
I know, honestly.
If anyone doesn't know what the heck is going on in the boating industry, the after effects of COVID are wild. You cannot get parts. You cannot get in to see the mechanic. You cannot buy a new boat or engine. Like it's nuts. Like, and it's been going on for a while, but
technically it's like a year out, 1 to 2. It could be 2 years. As of right now, like the last dealership I called for an outboard, I was just like, I just said, I'm curious, what is a weight for like an F200 right now? And he goes, well, the guy that would be in front of you if you got in line, he's been waiting since July of 2021. So it's almost a year already. And he hasn't even like heard if that order is going to come through yet. So it could be even so.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Put an order in for an engine now if you want it in 2 years.
Order your filters, your Raycors. Everything, just order all the backup stuff you need.
Horrible.
It's brought to you by West Marine.
Like I remember we tried to change the Raycors on the little boat, and they'd been out of that type for 3 months already.
What do we do? You just can't run? Like,
and I was like, but it's clogged. Like we literally can't go anywhere.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Anyways.
Horrible.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about boat maintenance.
Adam just went to Baja to a completely different area than I did. And he had
so I did have a great time. So I went with my buddy Charlie, who I've known for 5 years now. I met him. I used to do this. I think I've talked about it on the podcast. It's a research opportunity internship kind of. It's not an internship. It's a research gig with the community college that I went to in LA. And that's where I met Charlie the first year that I did it. And I've kept up with him ever since. Charlie owns his own company. You probably know it on Instagram. It's called Silver Shark Adventures. So he runs tours down to a little bay on the Sea of Cortez side called Bahia de Los Angeles. It's the Bay of the Angels. It's a really incredible spot for biodiversity. And then he also runs tours to Guerrero Negro for the gray whales. And originally our plan was to go to the lagoons first, but the weather was like pumping like 25 knots the first 3 days we were supposed to be there. So Charlie made a decision to switch it up. So we're gonna go to the Sea of Cortez side first, and then do the Bay of the do the lagoon second. And it turned out to be the best decision ever. We went to the Sea of Cortez first, and I love this little town. It's the tiniest little town. It's like there's no airport there. Like you can't really get to it. It's impossible to get to, really. It was like a 20-hour drive from LA to get there. Like it was a whole ordeal. But it's super cool. You get to see the Mexican countryside and stuff. But yeah, our first day was like pristine weather because he had switched it up. And there's like a bunch of islands out front of this little bay, this little town. And pretty much, I don't know, an hour into traveling, we found a group of humpback whales. It was 4 or 5 humpback whales. And it was honestly like Maui, like sea conditions or like visibility. Like it was incredible. Like you could look down and see the whales, 100 feet below you. It was super cool. And they were super friendly. And it was awesome. Got the drone up, got some spectacular looks, super cool. And at one point, it was like these 2 whales. They weren't like, they were young whales, and it wasn't like a heat run or like a competitive group or anything, but they were definitely flirty. Like they were doing some funky things. I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing some sort of courtship. Like I had never really seen it before. They were flipping upside down and like touching bits and doing a whole bunch of weird stuff, but they're super curious with the boat too. They just came right over to the boat and were hanging out with us. So that was super cool. I swam with some sea lions. There's a bunch of cool birds there, like blue boobies, frigate birds, stuff like that. So I always love going there. That was really fun. And then our first day in the lagoons was kind of our best day. Similar to what Slater was saying, like with the meeting of currents, they call it like the whale jacuzzi. And we had like 6 adults there, and it was super cool. They were like traveling in a straight line, all 6 of them, but they were like each separated by like, I don't know, a couple hundred yards. So we were kind of right in the middle of them. And same thing, they were spy hopping, upside down, swimming, the pec fins are in the air. Super interesting to watch the behaviors. And that was all just like a big group of adults. And then after that, we had some good weather. And in Guerrero Negro, there's a lot of calves. Like I probably saw 25 cow-calf pairs, which is awesome. I know that there's not a lot of those, or there hasn't been the past couple of years. But they really just didn't show any interest in the boat at all. They weren't friendly at all. They were just doing their thing. I think typically like peak is like second week of February to whatever, second week of March. Yeah, right. So I kind of went towards the end of the season. But it's all good. I mean, I would have loved to have pet a whale, but it just didn't align this trip. And that's Mother Nature. We all know how it goes. But I'll be back. So I'm super excited to go back. I'd love to pet a whale at some point. But I mean, just even seeing the cow-calf pairs is cool. Like there's so many of them.
The calves just like look like a toy. I feel like they just don't look real.
They don't.
I think it can happen the very end of April.
For sure.
Could have been an off day or two, but I don't like if you have a trip planned and it's at the end of the season, don't like feel like, I planned it wrong. Like it can happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like what mine was like 3 days before his, and my wife pet a whale. So
yeah, we went like the end of March one time, and it was great.
Yeah. And the day before we had arrived, our captain was like, "Oh yeah, yesterday we had a cow-calf pair hang out with the boat for 2 hours." So I just it didn't align, and that's okay. That's how it goes with these things. But again, even just seeing like all those whales and all those cow-calf pairs, like I've never seen more than like 6 in a season. It was super cool to see all of them down there.
It's like you're in a different area, and we always see gray whales while they're traveling. They're not like
Yeah.
stopped. And
Mm-mm.
so when you're there and you're like, wow, these whales are just like in this area, like it's a different
Yeah.
feeling watching a gray whale that like these gray whales were just like parallel to us chilling. And like,
Yeah.
usually they're at our 1 or 2 o'clock or
Well, it's cool
Mhm.
to see like when you're on their level and then they come up right next to the boat and you can get a much better sense of like how big they are.
Dude, those adults, I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap, they're bigger than this pongo.
Yeah, did
I was
they
like,
were they
oh my
upside
God.
down at all, like backstroking
Yeah,
or anything?
yeah.
They do. It seems like they're like love to be upside down even more.
Yeah. Super cool. I was stoked on just seeing that. Like, and we had a couple whales like come really close. Oh my gosh. One lady was like trying to pet it as it was swimming by. She was like trying to pet the tail. I was like, no, don't pet the no. Like it clearly
Don't touch
does
the
not.
tail.
I was like, it doesn't want to be pet right now. It's just like cruising under the boat. Like, don't pet it. But it's okay.
So you guys saw frigates?
Actually, I don't think we saw frigates this time of year. I don't think they're in Bahia
They're
this time
there.
of
They're
year.
there. We had like unlimited frigates.
In the lagoons?
Yeah, in Magdalena Bay we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any frigates.
So they what's it
I saw
called?
coyote. That was
So
cool.
something really cool about frigates is that there was a study done, and this guy like tagged 24, I think like 24 frigates, and they were seeing how long they like fly, and
Oh, they're
'cause they don't touch the
crazy.
water.
They're
So
crazy
the
birds.
longest one
Crazy.
stayed what is it, aloft? Is that how you say it?
Aloft, yeah.
Yeah.
On
Sure.
So,
on the wing.
yeah, was recorded in the Indian Ocean, and it was 2 months without touching the water.
Yeah.
And then so this one guy, and then I guess he was also tracking how high they went, and it was like he was like, okay, it's at 1,000 meters, and then it was like, hey, now he's at 2,000 meters, 3,000, 4,000 meters.
Yeah, over 10,000 feet high.
Yeah, like over like 13,000 feet.
What the heck is that thing doing up there? How's it gonna eat?
They just like catch a draft and just like keep going.
Is that
But
thing
when
just
you're
lost?
when you're up that high, it's way cold.
Okay, so I
Was
guess
he just, like,
planes
lost?
fly between 30,000 and 38,000 feet. So he's not that high, but like he's higher than little planes.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a long way
he's
up.
above the 1,000
Like
flight
2
rule.
miles
But
up.
do you think he just caught a draft and was like, oh crap,
So
I'm
they show,
hungry. Like I just
thermals
can't get
where, like,
down.
yeah, but like there's I don't know, man.
Do you think
but
he was just like pulling his wings, just like drop to get back down? Like, how do you get down from that height?
imagine you're like reading this data coming in, you're like, he's like, it's like 1,000 feet, and then it's like 13,000. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, frigate birds are nuts. And most migratory birds do this, but they can sleep while they're on the wing, right? So they sleep with half their brain, just like a whale or a dolphin does. So like, could have just been catching a draft, taking a nap. Like,
He's like, wait, where am I?
Like almost over 7 Empire State Buildings. The Empire State Building's 1,480 something feet.
Yeah.
Like, why? What's a bird doing that high? Like,
Who knows?
probably
man?
because if you think about it, if they can climb real high and then they're just like, I could drift forever, like to hit the floor. So it's like, could take him a week before he gets down. And they're pretty fast too. I watched one chasing fish, which was cool. He like almost, it was crazy because he actually went down along the water to grab one and missed, but other ones got scared and like jumped out of the water. And so I have this photo, but it's like, you have to really zoom in to see it all. But there's a little, I don't know what it was, sardine or something out of the water.
it wasn't a flying fish.
No, it was so where we were in Magdalena Bay, the south part is like, he said, even the captain said it's like filled with sardines in there, and it's a big sardine canning factory. And he said it's disgusting. It's like on this island, and they just like pump the sludge right into the like.
That's how Monterey Bay used to be.
Yeah, they just pump it right into the freaking off the island.
Water.
The,
Yep.
Yeah, bay.
Yep.
That's kind of nasty.
Monterey Bay. They said it used to stink the whole area for
Ugh.
miles.
No, thank you.
Fish oil.
So, all right. I'll give you the Hawaii report. Or do you want to talk about any sightings since you've been home, Adam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me.
Humpback whales in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and they're going off the charts. Today we had this.
Off
We had
the
a
chart.
we had a mugging whale. It was like super cool. No, I mean it's not.
Spit my water
Wasn't
everywhere.
it Danny Frank style mugging where they just go near the boat and he's like, I have a
No.
friendly whale. It's like,
No.
hey, that whale is 80 feet from the boat. He's not that friendly.
I mean, I don't know. One of the Monterey companies reported 100 humpbacks. Like, I
If
think
it comes up
No.
100 times, it doesn't mean it's 100
No,
whales.
but for
Yeah.
sure, I mean, look at Kate's story.
No, I'm
She had
sure- I'm sure
24
there's-
individuals yesterday, or 22
no,
individuals.
I'm sure there's probably
So
50
many
humpbacks
whales.
spread throughout the bay. but-
I mean, just,
But it's like how do you even quantify 100
who
whales?
said
Like,
who
where
said
do you-
100 whales?
Who do you think?
You already know who, dude. Come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There definitely is probably like over 40 whales around for sure.
Yeah. But we've had some pretty big groups. We probably have
When you
in
go-
our neck of the woods, we probably have 24 whales. And then I know in like the Eastern Channel, there's also like 20 whales. And then out by Rosa, I know there's some more whales. However, in our little Lokedom, there's probably 12 whales. And they've been super good. I just did like a little happy whale post. Did you guys see that? Did a bunch of
No.
little happy whale fluke IDs. What? You're not
Were
following
you
me?
posting during the podcast?
No.
again?
It was before. No.
No, I did
I was
not.
when I was waiting
I-
for
when
you
I see your
guys.
story,
I was
just, like,
driving
swipe it
home.
over to the next one.
You
Not-
click it off, Slater? That's mean, dude.
I hit that.
Disrespect.
Swipe over.
But they've been super good. They've today we had this awesome cow calf pair that was just mugging us and breaching around us the entire day. We had another little whale that was super, super friendly, came up right to the bow and did some circles, and he was playing in our jets and stuff. But they've been super good, and hopefully it just continues. Again, like this is the same thing that happened last year, right at the beginning of the season. We've had 0 common dolphins like the past 5 days. So, I don't know.
Whales coming up the coast.
Just keep sending up north. We'll take them.
I thought you were gonna say
Freaking,
you're sending your humpbacks north. They keep going.
Just send them up for the whale nerds trip,
But
and then
they're
we'll
gonna
just
keep
hang on
going.
to them.
That's true. Well,
They're gonna keep
freaking
going.
Dane today, I posted my story and I was like humpback whale Jazz or whatever. And he was like, send Jazz my way. And I was like, I'm gonna keep her.
No, she'll come up.
Yeah, she'll probably come up.
Send me
uh,
Chunky's mom.
Well, I guess-
Yeah, that whale's cool.
She is
So
cool.
Kate did some happy whale, today too, and I believe it was Lexus that she saw, and it was just off Cabo 4 weeks ago. So
Yeah, it's super cool.
Lexus, don't mess around. Got to get back.
swimming.
He's hungry.
Isn't that the one that hangs out with Fran sometimes?
I have no idea.
I think so.
No, that's
I literally
inverse, isn't it?
lose
Oh, inverse.
all-
You're right.
I lose all my whale knowledge when I stop whale watching for like 2 weeks, like for like a little while. And this week I've like lost so many brain cells because of this engine thing.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'm
can imagine.
I'm like telling Margot, I was like, I can't wait to just go. Like my next trip is technically the 13th, but if you're listening, sorry, I'm probably gonna cancel because the weather's horrible from like the next 5 days. Like
I know, but that's perfect because it's gonna blow like hell, and then right before a trip, it's gonna calm
yeah,
down.
that's what Kate and I were saying. We're thinking like what's gonna happen is it's just gonna go blow all week, and then it's gonna be so nice.
I hope so.
It's literally been
Fingers crossed.
consistently like breezy since the beginning of April 1st.
Welcome to spring in Monterey
Wait,
Bay.
what's today? I guess it's
April
only
It's spring
8 days.
everywhere.
But there's like
We're canc-
yeah.
We're canceling like 4 days next week. Like it's all horrible.
Yeah, even people in Newport, like the fishermen, were all posting today, like Monday, Tuesdays, just toast.
Yeah, it's toasted.
So now what? We just cry?
Okay, so that
Now
one
we
mom,
listen to Caitlin.
that one mom you saw with the big circles on her fluke.
Oh yeah.
The
Change the name.
well, I had some kids that wanted to name her Big. Just
Whatever,
Big.
man. I'll run with it.
And so,
Wait,
like
wait.
when she had a calf, it was big and chunky.
Wait, you've seen a whale, Caitlin, that he saw?
Yeah, so that one that he posted the slow-mo fluke video, that reel,
Oh.
she had a calf in 2019 that
I've seen
like
that whale?
yeah, it had like that huge injury on its back, and it just had like a little spike of a dorsal fin because like all the hump was gone because it got like I think it got hit by a boat or something.
Hmm.
So
Did you post it on Happy Whale?
Me?
Yeah.
and her calf had
Yeah.
a cool tail
What's her
too.
name?
I think she just has an ID number.
Yeah, she doesn't have a
Uh,
name. Look up Chunky, and then Chunky will be there.
Let me pull up the
It's like
photos.
177683 or some crap.
But that little whale was so cute all summer. Chunky
Dang
is
it.
like my favorite little whale.
Dude, this little whale today was so cute. He's all messed up because of with orcas, but he was like sitting on his mom's back. He was super cute. He was freaking
Let's
touching
see
our
if I
boat.
can pull
So
this
He was
off.
happy with all day, huh?
See that? Look
Today
at
I
its
was.
back, Slater.
I can't find it. Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
So like his whole hump was like missing.
That's your photo?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, dude, did you not see her story? She reposted my video. She shouted me out.
Let me hashtag
So
look.
that's the mom's fluke.
I'll be honest, I have not been
And then
social
that's the
media it up
calf's.
at all.
That's the
Yeah, I've
calf's
noticed.
fluke,
Where you at?
which it also has some scars, like maybe it got entangled. So maybe that's what happened to its dorsal hump. But
Dude, chunky 2018-2019 calf of CRC 12439.
it also
Look
has a
who-
lot of killer whale rake marks. So maybe it just
Look
got
at this
chewed off.
guy. Look at one of these contributors,
Adam,
Slater T.
You guys where I
Moore.
was, dude? I'm just trying to let you catch up.
Wow, dude.
So anyways, so I hope Chunky's alive because it's a really flipping cute whale, but who knows? Okay, you ready to hear the Maui madness?
No. I'm
No?
sad.
I already
Why?
know what you saw. I talked on the phone every day the last 3 days.
Whatever, dude. We haven't recorded in like 2-3 weeks.
Dang, you seen
I
the
wanna-
blonde
Had
whales.
I
all
wanna-
of March Madness.
I want to go back to Maui. Don't tell me. I'm
We
scared.
had a competition group in front of Lahaina Harbor for 8 hours one day.
Ooh.
Yeah, can't they go for days?
A whole day. And then we had a couple calves that were like not in good health. And I was talking to our research team, and one of them actually looked like a ship strike. Like it had some marks
Mm.
on its tail, and then like its peduncle was like all swollen, and it was only swimming
Mm.
with its pec fins.
Mm,
So sad.
little whale.
We've had spinner dolphins a couple times, a few of the times like right in front of the harbor, which has been super cool. And then my record was 3 competition groups in one day.
Wow, you have this written down? You're a
Yeah,
super
dude.
nerd.
No, I feel like I'm like, and I saw whales and
Yeah.
I have to write it
well,
down or
did
I
have
forget.
lunch, and then I forgot what I saw after lunch.
I have to write it down or I forget. Then we had like right in the thick of March, where it's like crazy competition group all the time. We had one whale that was like bubble blowing because that's like one of their like tools to like make a visual screen against their opponents. It blew bubbles for like 500 yards before it came up for air. It was awesome. And then it like
Oh,
turned and came at the boat. And he's like, he put his chin up like right before he dove and went under us, and his face was like all bloody. It was so gnarly. It was so
That's
cool.
awesome. I love
And
whales.
then I had
That
one
don't make any
day,
sense.
I had
Really
one
don't.
day off Conopoli where it was like pretty rough, like rough enough that I didn't want to turn the boat off. And I was like, I really hope that we don't get mugged today because I don't want to have to like sit in neutral. And we got mugged. So
Freaking Captain
You got
Taylor
mugged
over here.
today?
no, not today. This is like a couple days ago, but it's
Oh,
been
okay.
rough. It's been rough off and on a lot. I've definitely like learned a lot about how the out channel
say, 'cause
works.
You didn't
Yeah.
think today was gonna be that great, and then, well, you didn't. Not that you didn't think it was gonna be great, but you said there just hasn't been so many whales now. So
Yeah. So then like the peak before we started to really drop off, we had the biggest comp group we saw was like 12 whales. We've had some groups with bottlenose dolphins.
That's cool.
And then a couple times over the last few weeks, we've also had singers like right under the boat. And I don't know what
Yeah,
it is
your
about like,
story was cool.
yeah. No, I think it's the whole design on Ocean Explorer. It's like it's a catamaran, but I think that the pontoons are like close enough together that it just like echoes the song up
Like,
through the deck.
Yeah, reverberates.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Reverberates. Yeah, sure.
Reverberates. Yeah.
And then we've seen spotted dolphins a couple times too, which is super cool. And then now it's springtime, so we're starting to get our birds back, which makes me happy. The people do not give one iota about the birds, but I'm always like, oh, look at that petrel. Oh, look at that
What's an
shearwater.
iota?
They don't give a hoot. They don't give a crap. They don't care. They're just like, yeah, okay,
There's no-
Captain.
There's no albatross on Maui.
They don't really come into Maui Nui, like the 4-island region of Maui. They don't really come in
Mhm.
there. They stay more on the outside. They see them in
Gotcha.
Kauai, but that's quite a ways from where we are.
Yeah.
But we've seen like We had a red-tailed tropic bird. We have wedge-tailed shearwaters that nest on the island. We have Hawaiian petrels that nest on the island. I've seen a different kind of petrel that I don't know what it is. I need to look it up.
So should I just come up if I want to see birds right now, or
I
is there
mean, you
whales too?
could. There's a few whales around. Today we saw 3 or 4 different mom-calf groups and 1 small competition group.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
When are you moving back?
Next week.
No, dude.
It's the 15th. I know it is, but is it still
Yeah.
happening?
My last day and my last shift on
I don't know.
Maui is
She'll
the
probably let us down
15th.
again.
Wow.
Slater.
Why are you
Have
being
some
so
faith.
hurtful?
Have
Guys,
some
it's supposed to be
faith.
April 1st. Maybe my engine wouldn't have broke down.
No, that definitely would have, and then I would have been pissed that I was there sitting on my butt doing nothing,
That's true.
sitting in a car going to pick it up.
With beautiful weather.
So yeah, my last shift's the 15th, and I fly home Easter weekend, and then I'll be down for Whale Nerds trips.
Whoop, whoop.
So yeah.
I'm pumped. Wait, before we move on, I forgot a sighting that I have. Can I continue?
Yes.
Okay, so we had this harbor gray whale hanging out for like 2 weeks. He was feeding and stuff. It was super cool. But one night, my buddy Devin, who's also a captain on our boat, like, dude, the bio is crazy right now. Let's go. And so we went out in the bio, and it was awesome. And we saw a whale in the bio, and he was like, you can see his spout illuminating and stuff. It was so cool. But the best
So you
part,
saw the gray whale glowing in bioluminescence.
yes. But that wasn't even the best part. The best part was like this huge, like this crazy group of, it was just a bunch of anchovies. It was a bunch of bait. But like in bio with common dolphins chasing it, I didn't really capture it the best, I feel like, but it just looked like sound waves. Like in real life, it was just like the dolphins would chase them. It just looked like
Oh yeah.
cool.
I've seen that at night where the fish start flying. It looks really cool when they're in bioluminescence.
It's so crazy. And it's like that's the sound I think it would make. But anyways, that
like
was
a
cool.
lightsaber?
I wanted to share. Yeah, like I guess so. But
Okay.
biodolphins are legit.
Anyways.
Well,
that's the episode. Thanks for coming out.
All right, there.
No, I'm just kidding. So usually I think, I don't know, I guess maybe we share this later in the season usually, but Laguna San Ignacio Ecosystem Science Project always has like season updates for like how the breeding season's going for gray whales, but they don't have their like final report ready yet. Maybe we don't normally cover this till in May. But they do have their February update available. So since you guys both just went to Baja, I figured we'd share that. So the team did their first surveys in the lagoon for the season on January 9th, and there were 9 adult whales and 3 mom and calf pairs. And then their second survey was January 19th, and it was quite a dramatic difference. 10 days later, 179 adult whales and 4 mom and calf pairs. And then they had a really cool resighting. They had a single female that has a huge white patch or saddle on her back, which I think she gets sighted at Point Vicente every couple years too on her way up and down the coast. She was first photographed in San Ignacio by Mary Lou Jones and Stephen Schwartz during the winter of 1979. And at the time she had a calf, she's been re-photographed 15 times over the last 43 years, and she's had at least 6 calves. So they encountered her. Also, she was encountered in different locations throughout Baja this season. So she was seen this year on the 29th of January in the southern portion of Mag Bay. And then on the 20th of February, she was in San Ignacio.
That's cool.
So they said both encounters, she looked like she was in good health. And they're assuming that gray whales reach maturity between 7 and 9 years old. So if she was first seen in 1979, and then 43 years later this year, they estimate her age to be 50 to 52 years old at a minimum, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
So that was a cool little resighting story. And then sometime in January, they didn't give the date of when this happened, but sometime in January or early February, they found an entangled gray whale calf. and they were able to have a few drivers from Koyima come out with their pangas and assist in the disentanglement. It was fishing gear wrapped around the mouth and the head of the calf, and they were able to free it successfully. And the mom and calf have both been resighted several times, and they appear to be healthy.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then there was a stranding response that the team mounted for an underweight gray whale that was on the beach. They were able to initially refloat it, but unfortunately it restranded and died several days later, and they said it was severely underweight. And then this part of the report, it wasn't super clear, but it said there have been 8 stranded whales in the lagoon this season so far. Most were very underweight. I'm assuming that just means since just this
Season. Yeah.
season, I'm assuming is how if I read that right.
We saw a dead one in Guerrero Negro.
Okay. And then they said in general, though, the whales do look better this season, and there were more of them than in previous years, but the calf numbers are still low. So we still are in the UME, the unusual mortality event.
I did see that, but that's all San Ignacio. Like,
Yeah.
Guerrero Negro is 10 times.
Well, it's a bigger lagoon anyway.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah,
I'm just saying, like Charlie was telling me, he's like I think on average, they estimated like 1,100 whales in Guerrero Negro this year. You know, and like I said, I saw probably 25, 30 cow calf pairs.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there was lots of adults in San Ignacio, and this is only the preliminary report. You know, like this is not even from the peak. So it sounds like there's lots of adults, just not lots of babies. So we'll see. Things are better, but not perfect. And then there was this story making the rounds, so I just sort of like went down a rabbit hole learning about it. This is actually from 2014, but for some reason it kept popping up on social media again this year. It's about conjoined gray whale calves that were found in the lagoon. And the article that always circulates is the Nat Geo article. And so I did some more research on it. The Nat Geo article says that the gray whale calves were found floating in Ojo de Liebre Lagoon, and they were about 2 to 3 meters long. So 7 to 10 feet long. They're joined more like towards the like belly and the tail.
Yeah.
And based on how they were very small, like a typical newborn calf is 3 to 5 meters long. So it's 12 to 16 feet long. But based on their development and the time of year that they were found, they suspect that they were pretty much full term. So the question is, would they have ever made it to their full size? Because would that have fit in the mom? 2 babies full size? That's gnarly.
I thought when Charlie told me the story, he told me that they were born and survived a little bit and then died.
I don't know. This doesn't specify, but it also says
talk was.
It also says that it's questionable whether they would have been able to surface to breathe because of how they're joined.
Yeah. Maybe if it's like 2 side by side, somehow conjoined, or it's like a whale with 2 heads. Yeah.
So then this article also mentions that humpback whales, minke whales, and sei whales have all been reported to have conjoined twins, and they reference in the Nat Geo article another article about a sei whale report, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just thinking generally about like what it takes to have twins, typically mammals that have 1 calf at a time only have 1 set of nipples. So like just a pair of nipples. Animals that have lots of babies have multiple sets of nipples because they need to support all those babies. So like humans, primates, whales, like these are all mammals that typically have 1 offspring at a time. And so their bodies are set up for that. So twins are probably normally very, very, very unlikely. And then again, depending on how, if they're conjoined, depending on how they're attached, one of them is not going to be able to get to the surface to breathe, or both of them. So then I was like, okay, I gotta know more about this. So I started to research more about like the actual scientific paper, the first time it was ever documented. And the earliest report of any conjoined twins of any cetacean was in 1917.
Ooh.
So this is not a new concept.
That's
It was a
long time ago.
bottlenose dolphin, and it stranded on the coast of the Netherlands. Then there's reports from whaling. So there's a sei whale that was, I think this was found as a fetus in the womb. So when they processed the mom, they cut open the belly, they found conjoined twin fetuses for a sei whale in like the 67, 68 Antarctic whaling season. Then there was a humpback conjoined fetus in 1970, also during the Antarctic whaling season. Then there are several reports of striped dolphins. The researchers are in Japan. I think they're from stranded animals. It was in 1971 and 1978. There's not a lot of details about it, but they were both reported as fetuses, so it must have been a stranded animal. And then there's a minke whale case that also seems to have come from whaling, and that was also in the womb. It was a fetus in the late 1950s, but the report didn't come out till the 1980s. There was a stillborn bottlenose dolphin a couple times, one off of the coast of Corsica, one in the Aegean Sea. And then there was some much more detailed reports about harbor porpoises. And then this paper that I found the harbor porpoise information in actually has a lot more detailed, like compiled list of all these cases and like how they're attached and like what that means and like what stage of development they were in and like all this cool stuff. So if you really are like want to like get into this, I'll give you the links to those papers. But yeah, it's not a first time thing, the gray whale. It's happened in odontocetes and mysticetes. And some of them made it to birth, probably stillborns. And then others were fetuses that were found during whaling or during a stranding event.
I would think that conjoined twins would be pretty, like impossible to keep alive, but I think twins probably could.
Yeah, and this actually, the harbor porpoise report says there's one reported case of actual twins.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the outcome was.
Yeah. It's interesting. It just doesn't really like in a water world, conjoined twins just like wouldn't work. Like maybe like I've seen pictures of like lizards and turtles and all that kind of stuff with conjoined twins, but I just feel like in an ocean world, like it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Be too difficult.
It's too difficult.
Swimming is tough.
Swimming's hard. Yeah. It is.
So interesting though. And there's all kinds of different like compositions that they could be. So like there's all different points in development where this could have happened.
We are Siamese, if you please.
I mean, pretty interesting. So yeah, I just figured we got to get that out of the way because it's been on the list for a while and then it kept making the rounds on social media. So I was like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah, I did just hear about that. I actually didn't know until the other day. Pretty crazy.
So is Guerrero Negro bigger than San Ignacio?
Yeah, it's like 10 times bigger.
And they have more whales there, huh?
Yeah.
Like 10 times more whales.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, they're everywhere.
They
They literally like
even
even in
the big like hotspot.
It's further north as well.
Yeah, so they have to travel less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I mean, it's like negligible,
Yeah.
But like if you're driving from California, it's closer to go to Guerrero Negro.
But it is also still in like kind of the middle of nowhere. So
Oh,
the middle,
for
the
sure.
middle of Baja is like impossible to get to.
Yeah.
That whole stretch right there, like between San Ignacio and Guerrero Negro, is like
Nothing.
just desert.
But
vibe.
sometimes, like I know some people that will drive down and they'll do Guerrero Negro and then they'll keep going and they'll go to San Ignacio too, because like you're already almost all the way there.
I highly recommend those two lagoons for sure.
Yeah. So that's what we got. Episode 106.
That's what we got. Did you like it? If you did,
like it,
rate it and review it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought we did a good job.
Yeah. Come clean the beach with us or watch whales with us.
If you don't watch whales with us, like Slater always says, you're not our friend.
What should be our secret whale of the week?
And more whales for us. Gray whale.
Gray whale.
How about can join baby gray whales?
E. robustus. Did I ever
Dude,
tell you
I
the
was-
story about Jim Sumich and how to pronounce the scientific name for gray whales?
No, I still want to know. So tell me. I still can't pronounce it.
He like literally wrote the book on gray whales, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, do you say Eschrictus robustus because that's like the Latin pronunciation of the CH? Or do you say it a different way?
Eschrish.
Yeah. And so he like posted to the class and we're like, well, tell us, how do you say it? He's like, I say E. robustus.
He doesn't even mess with it.
Doesn't even try.
Dude,
Hit him with the ER.
I had this awesome idea. I wanted to take a picture. I wanted somebody to take a picture of me with the book, with a thumbs up, with the whale next to me, like about to be pet, but I didn't pet any whales. So like maybe next time.
What,
Sorry.
you wanted to recreate my Dolphin Diaries pic?
You did that?
Well, I wasn't me in the picture, but I held the book up over the top of the spotted dolphins while they were bow riding, and I took a picture of it.
That's pretty cool. No, I
Oh,
wanted
you're
like
saying
I wanted to
like the
show
guys
the
like
whale.
Marine mammal book.
The purple one, the gray whale book.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to show the whale, like, look, this is you. There's a whole book on you.
Oh,
This
there's
is
many
your
books
book.
on you.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Well,
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We hope to see you at some point in April. If not, stay tuned. We'll have more fun things happening later in the year. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Have a nice life.
Bye.